Welcome to the Facerocker Podcast, number 42. This week, Benji Dolly, a.k.a. Games Dean from VGHS, sits down and interviews Matt and myself about the progress of Season 3. We're partway through shooting, and it's a lot of fun. And we're doing quite a bit this season that we haven't done in other seasons. So you'll get a little update straight from Matt and myself for that. So if you're VGHS fans, stick around. I need to do some sponsor messages. And if you need to skip ahead, you don't like these sponsor messages, go right ahead. You do what you gotta do. But I gotta do what I gotta do, which is keep the lights on around here. We're not multimillionaires, unfortunately. We're not just doing this to just grab at more money. We're doing this to support this podcast, to support all this equipment and recording stuff in our office space. And there's a lot of overhead here at RocketJump, and these sponsors help make what we do possible. One of these sponsors is Squarespace. You into websites, you want to do a website, you want to make a professional looking website, there's two ways you can do it. You can sit around and try and learn HTML and CSS and all that crap and spend years doing it, and your website will suck and probably not work in Internet Explorer. Or you can use Squarespace.com. Squarespace is a service where it has a bunch of templates, thousands of templates, really good professional looking templates. It's just a drag and drop thing. You can get on there, you can build your website for free. You can see how it looks, you can get it professional looking, and you only pay if you like what you see. So head on over to squarespace.com, promo code RocketJump. You can get 10% off your order. If you're like a DP or an editor and you need a reel and you need to get yourself out there, squarespace.com is the best, fastest, cleanest way to get a professional looking website out there and start making some dough as a professional, whatever it is you want to do in the film world. So if you want to make a website, I recommend squarespace.com. Use the promo code RocketJump and get 10% off. All right, enough with that. Let's get to a VGHS update. Why don't you intro it, Games?
All right, well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Facerocker Podcast number 42. I'm sitting here with the creators and directors of Video Game High School, Freddie Wong and Matt Arnold.
On one of our few off days, by the way.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little short one. We're like in between things here.
You have to go rehearse, right?
Let's just talk about why this one's even so short. Yeah. Right? So we have 2 off days. We shoot, our schedule is 5 days on, 2 days off. And 2 days off is not really 2 days off. It's more like preparing 3/4 of a day off.
We just got back from
you're prepping for the next week of filming, correct?
Yeah, we just came back from a tech scout to look at some Field of Fire location options. And then now we're about to do rehearsal for episode 4.
And then I dragged you in here. And
because we got to do some podcasts.
Because Games represents the people, and the people want to hear what's going on.
I am the people.
So just before we started, I was saying there wasn't enough games yet.
Yeah, no, I wanted to talk to you guys. It's actually something really I noticed it's really funny, because this season is the first time I'm not doing any of the post work or whatever. So last year I was with Des and Ben, and I got to be there from day one, watching them try to figure out how to make the show, right?
Yeah.
How to export the 48, and I got to sit there every day on set and watch you guys and see the behind the scenes of all the stress that's involved.
Yeah.
And all the terror that is involved, and everything that can go wrong, that has gone wrong. But this year I'm just doing the acting thing. Yeah. And I come in on set, and I got to tell you, from just doing it this time around, it is so much fun. What a gig. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't see any of the stress that's involved. I don't see any of the terror.
Or you're treated like a baby. I mean, you're an actor. We got to keep you safe. I show up and I get to do
just the fun stuff, and man, it's fantastic.
Yeah? You have a good time?
Yeah, so I want to see how has it been going behind the scenes? Has it been stressful this year? Any hiccups so far? Or smooth so far?
So it's pretty smooth sailing so far.
I mean, because you guys are about a week in.
We're
correct?
2 weeks in.
2 weeks in.
So we have a 6-week schedule that we're looking at. 2 weeks into it, and
we shot about 60 pages.
Yep, which is daunting if you actually think about a lot. Yeah, such as 2 full episodes of television have been shot already. And I would say so. This is what I've been telling Matt, and then I think Matt agrees with me. Given his stunned silence, I think he usually agrees with me with that. Is that season 1 we were like chicken head cut off everywhere. We were all location shooting. We were at CSU Northridge. We were at Field Fire location. We were just running around like crazy everywhere, all on location shooting. Season 2, we kind of parked at the YouTube space, and we did a lot of stuff in the space. We did a lot of stuff outside the space, even in that surrounding area.
I think we were like 2.5 weeks there.
We just parked. About 3 weeks there.
Yeah.
And that was like a whole different type of shooting. And season 3 feels like the combination of 1 and 2. It's we built some stages. We didn't use the YouTube stages for the dorm sets this season, so we had these other stages we built on, and we were only there for the first week, and then we were out of it, and then we're somewhere else, and then this week we're going to be planted somewhere else. So it's almost like this like mix of running around all these different locations, but you're kind of half planting yourself in each of them for a little bit of time, and that's what it's been like on that physical production end. And as a result, it's just so much more complex. This is easily the most complex season that we've been dealing with.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest reason for being so complex, and you kind of touched on it in that we were only in our dorm sets for 5 days this year, and I think we were there for like 10.
Yeah,
because we knew we wanted to build the dorm sets, and that was a big part of the show, and so we wrote season 2 with a lot of that in mind. And now that we have those locations, I mean, as you know, there's a whole episode in a different location.
Yeah.
And then there's the second episode is all over the place.
Yeah,
I don't want to give away too much of it because it's kind of a
yeah.
different episode, but everybody's story is all over the place, and it's barely at the school at all. So yeah, it's definitely kind of been complicated location-wise, but I think the real reason it's a lot more complex is that everybody's story is kind of coming to a head, and with the separation of Brian and Ted, every episode is like 3 arc-heavy stories, like key story, Brian and Jenny's, or Brian and then Jenny's, like even sometimes they're separated, and we're trying to tie them all together, so there's a lot of montages, there's a lot of cross-cutting between scenarios, so it's like every day, even if it's only 4 scenes, it's also like 4 scenes and 8 little pieces that we need to shoot also.
And it feels very much like season 2 is a lot of setup for the payoffs that we're getting through, and then this season is all payoff essentially, right? It's all like, I mean, not all of it, but there's quite a bit of like, okay, we have this sense of, okay, we're wrapping things up, and to get to that point and make it feel right for all of these characters who you've met over the course of 2 seasons, there's a lot of legwork that needs to be done.
Yeah, definitely. I would say when I read the script, it's not just the show as a whole gets wrapped up, but like you said, each individual character gets a nice little wrapping there. Now, you guys usually film the action towards the end of shooting,
that's
and like
right.
you said, you know, the shoot is way different this year. So has that changed, or how's that going?
So we always, it's always funny because it's like every single season we brought that up. It starts the same up, which is like, do you guys want to get some of the action stuff out of the way first? And then like literally the next sentence is, what if someone breaks a leg or an ankle? And then it's just like a pause. It's like, yeah, we should do that at the end.
Well, this year we actually did, we had 2 days that we were going to shoot early.
Yes.
And that kind of action, but counts as action. It's video game stuff.
And we were going to go back.
Out,
we were going to go back to El Tejon, which
I think we still are, but we got rained out.
That was where we had our snow day, right?
Yeah, that's where you saw.
And now you had a rain out.
We had a rain
as well.
Well, it was funny because we were ready to go. We were ready to go 2 days early.
Yeah.
And then this huge rainstorm hit Los Angeles. And by the way, Los Angeles is in a drought. And everyone's like, oh, this is going to be great. This is what you need. And it's like, no, it's not.
It's worst timing.
It was bad. Well, I mean, it was bad timing for us just because it's like, it's always good to get stuff out of the way. And anything that sort of delays that is just, well, you got to do it eventually. And it's just like, it's like pulling teeth, right? You just got to get it out of the way, get shot, get in the can. Yeah. And to me, the process of filming is the process of narrowing infinity down to something tangible, right? So it's like when you have it on the page, it's infinite. It could be anything. It could be anywhere. It could look like anything. Anyone could be playing this. And then as you shoot it, you narrow down your options because your actors are making decisions and your cinematographer is making decisions, and now those are starting to get baked in. And then once you get to the editing side, it's like you have a lot of choices in terms of where you cut and what shot you use, but it's finite compared to here. And then as you sort of narrow it down, you're going from this huge thing and you're just wedging it down all the way to the final product. So the sooner you can tackle infinity, the better it is for your sort of like mentality.
Yeah, you just want to get in there.
You just want to get in there. And one of the things that I noticed, and I was talking to Matt about this when we were going on our location scout today, is actually, I think we can say this. On the location scout, there was this one location we're looking at, and it just had llamas everywhere.
It's like 20 llamas. I've never been that close to a llama. I mean, I've driven by them, but it was like we were in a...
They're not the cleanest of animals.
Well, it was like we were in an alien planet because we just opened a gate.
And like 20 llamas.
It was a house. Like a location was like this like rundown house. And there's just like 20 llamas on a bridge just staring at us.
And like kind of coming
close. It would have felt like we landed on an alien planet and there was this house with just these strange creatures and they just kind of start circling you and they're all just staring at us. We're like, hey... And I don't really know if they're dangerous. I don't know anything about llamas.
They'll spit on you. That's what the guy said.
I know the spit, but like
they just look dirty.
They're pretty big. Like they were bigger than me. Like so, it was like if all those charged at us.
We'd be dead. We wouldn't be doing this podcast now. We'd be dead.
Dead from llamas.
That would be awesome.
Llama-based dead.
If that was the update.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
There's no more podcasts.
Llamas.
Llamas killed Matt and Freddie.
So on our way there, to bring this back a little bit, I said to Matt, one of the things that I noticed from last season and that Matt and I both experienced, I think John experienced as well, is that you go into shot mode when you start to look at TV and movies now. Like, you don't watch, like, because you're every day, 12 hours a day, you're spent thinking about shots and coverage and blocking. When you start to look at TV or just like sit down and be like, oh, I'm just going to chill out, let's just watch an episode of something, you can't get out of that mode.
You can't do that now.
Right, yeah,
right?
and it is a
It's
lingering
like seeing
effect.
the strings.
Yeah, and there's an effect that lingers for like a couple of weeks after you're done shooting, which is now when we go, like I went and I was just watching an episode of House of Cards, and like I lost track of the plot because it was just like, okay, House of Cards is opening every shot with a really slow dolly in on a wide, and then he's sitting there and blocking lights. He turns.
Well, you also
in,
just start doing stuff
setups.
like, oh, these two shots were shot simultaneously because this is just one lighting setup. That's why there's a shadow on his face. So they did A cam, B cam. That's why that's why the Americans is shot so quickly. This pilot's really long. It's like, oh, okay, they went through this super fast. They just decided to turn around the camera. You can't even see that editing point here. Like, it's like I just started thinking
so
is it safe to assume you try to avoid all forms of media then once you're...
I don't care about it.
Actually, I'll tell you what,
how do you unwind? How do you zone out? I mean, I know these are your days off and you're still working. You don't really get that chance.
I feel like that's why some people watch reality TV, because like my brain can turn off in reality TV.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
true.
I'll watch Gordon Ramsay talk about somebody's shitty restaurant.
You
like,
donkey.
Yeah.
Donkey, you're killing people.
It's raw. Yeah. Well, no. I mean, I'll tell you what. Again, so we only really have like a day and a half a day off.
Yeah.
Because a lot of calls, a lot of setup into it. But video games got that Dark Souls 2.
Yeah. Yeah, video games are a good place to
just turn off. But it's interesting then because it's like you get in this mode of thinking, and it's like seeing the code, right? The matrix. You're just like, oh, okay, it's gonna be this way and this way. And you start applying that to what you think. Like, hey, that's interesting. What if we did that? But you become way more aware. You become hyper aware of the technique of stuff. So that's one of the weird side effects of being in shooting mode.
And like the boring technique, like, because whenever we're watching stuff, we're always analyzing it and thinking about the story structure. But it just gets into straight up like, oh, this actor is 6 feet from the wall now, and when they turned it around, they cheated it this way because I can see the same cabinet in the garage and pull shots. So this is definitely a real location and not a set. Yeah. Like, it's just like you get this mindset where you're just seeing like the actors on a location and how they're setting them up and lighting them, and it definitely, like, I love The Good Wife, and everybody's talking about this week's episode being amazing, but like I couldn't do anything but just watch it. And they were doing a lot of montage stuff. I was like, man, I was just like, okay, so they shot, this is a complicated
and there's
episode.
no one that enjoys some Good Wife like
more
you
me.
enjoy some Good Wife.
Yeah, The Good Wife is like the ultimate, like just watch and have a good time. Yeah, I couldn't do anything but analyze it, but yeah.
Thank you very much for listening to today's podcast. We're going to take a very short break. I just want to take a moment to tell you about our brand new sponsor. Today's Facerocker Podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace.com, the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website and online portfolio. Take it from us. Building your own website is a huge pain in the butt. It took us forever to build RocketJump. It's a very difficult task, especially if you're an artsy-fartsy creative type that doesn't know how to code. Use the offer code RocketJump, sign up for a free trial, and you get 10% off your first purchase. These guys are great. It's all drag and drop, fully customizable. You can link your site right to your Facebook and Twitter profiles. Even a chump like you, John, can put together a great website in minutes.
Well, from what I hear, they've got tons of design templates and style options, and they update with new stuff all the time. You can even set up like a merch store in 2 seconds.
You got a bunch of merch you want to sell?
Not yet, but I will be now that I can use Squarespace.com to easily set up my website.
You can. It's just that easy. Plus, there's this really cool feature where all the designs also come in the mobile version, so your site doesn't look like total garbage on an iPhone.
Also, if you need a little help, or if you just want someone to talk to because you're having a lonely Saturday night, they have an amazing customer support team. Over 100 people on call 24/7.
Thanks to Squarespace for supporting the show. Head over to squarespace.com and use the promo code RocketJump for a free trial and 10% off your first purchase. Again, just go try it out. Design your website. If you like it, then you buy.
All starting at $8 a month.
Don't even need a credit card to get started.
Squarespace. It's everything you need to make a kick-ass website.
Hey guys, how's it going? Jimmy Wong, aka Ted from VGHS here, telling you to check out shop.rocketjump.com. We've got brand new merchandise like iPhone cases and iPad decals to shirts, Blu-rays, and posters, including brand new Season 2 designs from our friends at Danger Brain. There's also the incredibly popular VGHS hoodie, and some of our older shirts are on sale for a great price. So make sure you check it out right after this podcast at shop.rocketjump.com. Thanks so much, guys.
With this season, we are I would say that we're taking I think a touch more time with our lighting setups a little bit. There's been a couple locations
that's looking good so far.
That are just gorgeous looking.
Yeah.
Like just really above and beyond. John and his team are just killing it in terms of just lighting.
Benji, you were in a scene that was a little more like stylized than we've normally done. With you and Key.
Oh yeah,
which was fun, and you did a little run down the hallway.
Oh yeah, loved that.
A good time.
That was a blast.
Yeah,
that was my first day, which I have to thank you guys again.
Was that your first day?
You brought me in on my first 2 days. Raul or whoever made the schedule, I got to give them a fist bump. You know, they were smart by knowing to give me just like one line a day to ease me into it. Like we got Dolly in today, we can't give him more
load them
than
up too much.
No, I feel like there's a lot of Dean this year. I feel like
you guys hooked me up. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I feel like there's some good games.
I'm always looking for work. So thanks, guys. Speaking of actors, obviously there's new characters this season.
Yeah.
You brought on some new actors. Have you had much time with them on set yet? How's that been going?
Yeah, we've had. I guess we've had Maddie on for a while, which is O'Doyle, which is a new character. She's one of the social gamers.
Yep.
I don't know if
we're showing some more. We're showing
a lot more games.
Yeah,
right?
we're showing some more of the. What it is we're showing more of the clicks around the school. So you're used to the FPS and the FPS team, but we wanted this season kind of show a little bit more. Because obviously they're going for a campaign. Yeah. You got to win the constituents, and there's different groups of people now. So we had some fun. And Matt and those guys they had a lot of fun with coming up with. I have very little to do with that. Coming up with some of these new game types and
that must have been fun though, because high school was. That's how high school is. There's the cliques, there's the groups.
And we push it pretty hard with who the social gamers are and how poorly they're treated at the school. And we knew we wanted obviously there's Wendell and Key, but not giving anything away. There's a lot of stuff going on in the campaign, and we wanted another kind of companion for Key, another character for her to play off of. And Maddie's been awesome, and O'Doyle's a lot of fun so far. And then we have obviously Ashley Barnstormer, not new, but he was just one tiny moment.
For 1 second. And the funny thing about him was that he came in to audition for us, just like Wendell. There was one day that was just like the magic day of auditions for us last season, where we were sitting around and we're just background, random roles.
People who had one
line, 2 lines. Wendell walked in, Brennan walked in, and we're like,
to play a goon. Shane Pizza. Somebody who carts away.
Oh my God.
When
that was
a
blast to have him read that.
And he walked in, I'm like, that's not a goon.
We're like, stop.
He said one word, and we're like, stop.
Take this, go back out there, study this, play this scene. He's like, okay. And
he came back and he said like 2 lines as Wendell, like, you got the job. You're Wendell.
And the other one was Ashley.
He just came in as
Brian.
a stuntman.
Yeah, Brian was another Brian on the
I know. There's a lot of Brians.
He was just gonna be a stunt guy, and he does like blacksmithing and like
he's a blacksmith, right? He's a real man's man.
Blacksmith. He does like kind of stage like fighting and like I don't know if it's at Knott's Berry Farm or stuff, but he just does that sort of stuff, like kind of those simple stunts.
And he came in, and we were looking for like the napalm leader. And he came in, we're like, stop, same thing. It was just like, hold on, just try this. And we were like, this guy's perfect for this. And he just
has that natural confidence, and he's just got
which
that,
comes
like,
from being a real blacksmith.
Like blue blood, handsome look. And he's just like, he just carries himself, and he's tall. And he's just like, hi, I'm here to, audition for a stuntman. I'm also a blacksmith. How are you doing? Here's my muscles. And we're like, you need to read Napalm Guy now.
And the funny thing is, he was only in one scene at the end of season 2, and I think he had no idea the plans we had for him.
Yeah, he came back. He's like, hi, I'm like a character in your show now.
Like a huge,
because Napalm is the bad guy.
Is the villain this season? Yeah.
So
we've had a lot of fun. You also get a chance to. One of the things that we did this week was you got a chance to see another high school. Finally, another war. You've seen the gaming teams and some of the stuff in season 2, like you saw them play Hardcore Gamer Academy and Stars Hall and stuff. But you've never actually seen another school. So,
because we follow the law right over to Napalm because he hang glides out.
He hang glides Loser Emporium. Yeah. So you get a chance to see what we have some fun with it, but we got to see another school. So we got to find another school set, which is probably not what you'd expect, but it's a lot of fun. And
Napalm's pretty weird.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's weird.
I got to stop by. It's pretty fantastic.
There's a lot of Napalm is a lot of.
I'll tell you what it wasn't.
Because I don't want to give away any spoilers, but it's a lot of all of our craziest actors are in like one spot, and it's
some of the most funny stuff. Like everybody, we were shooting some stuff here with the most over the top actors that we have, and these scenes are just incredible. And I think like I've never seen the people hanging around the monitor, like the scripting monitor, like cracking up so consistently over anything we've ever shot.
Yeah,
and it's like some of the craziest scenes. So we got to get through some really fun stuff this last week.
Yeah, we finally shot with Nathan Kress.
That's right.
Yeah, we can't talk about at all.
You can't say
what
much
he is.
about it.
It's a big spoiler.
Huge spoiler. But he was amazing.
He's
amazing,
a blast.
Amazing.
Yeah. He's an awesome dude, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. He's funny on set. I don't know. It's been good. I think it's been.
We've had some. We've had some.
It's
real
hard to
difficult.
say.
Well, here's what it is. We've had some really difficult days these last 2 weeks. We had a couple easy ones, but there were some very difficult. You know, in this world means high page count and complexity and high setups and camera setups and lighting setups. So we had a couple of those that we had to burn through, and there's a lot of considerations that you don't think about when you talk about filming this stuff because your crew's on 12-hour turnaround. So if you take too long one day, you incur overtime for everybody, so you're paying them a little bit more, but you're also pushing your call time the next day because they need a 12 hours to turn around. But then, so this was really
that may not matter, but it matters if you're doing exteriors the next day because then you go
sunlight
later in the day and you lose
sunlight don't move.
Yeah.
But so literally what happened this second week was we started super early on the first day, on Wednesday. We're like, why are we starting at 6 a.m.? They're like, because we expect to go over on one of these days, and if you go over here, this puts us in the right time for when we need sunlight for an exterior
the last day
thing.
of the week we needed to start at 7.
Right.
So we gave ourselves essentially an hour. I think it was a 5 a.m. call. Give ourselves an hour or 2 hours, expecting we're going to go an hour to 2 hours of overtime, and knowing that we still need to get to the final day.
Which is really interesting because it's like you're making decisions and scheduling that are affecting you 5 days later for things you don't know. And that's kind of one of the things that was interesting this season. And one of the things that we're using this season we were able to really take advantage of is we're using Red Dragon. And a lot of low light. So Red Dragon's rated for 2000 ISO, which allows you to get into the low light a lot more. And we were able to crank out a scene that was like we weren't quite sure where we were going to shoot it, but a really sort of important, sort of emotional dialogue
really
scene.
Quiet dialogue scene.
Really quiet, really subdued sort of dialogue scene, and we were able to do it on one of our days, sort of just outside where we were shooting, and very little light. We're talking about like one
street lamp,
Kino, and a street lamp to augment, and that's it. And off of that sensor, looked gorgeous.
Yeah, so I think it's one of the best scenes we've shot, both looking wise and just story wise
and performance wise as well from everyone involved. And it was a really interesting scene because so John, for that particular setup, rented one. Most of the time we're very much a zoom lens set. Our philosophy in terms of being able to do our turnarounds and do the pages that we do is that we are living on zoom lenses for both our A and B cameras, which means that we're not taking time for lens changes, which can aggregate over the course of a day, maybe half an hour to an hour of time, and that's a lot. That's like being able to take another. That's a whole scene. So. John, for that specific case, says, well, we're outside. We need to go to the Zeiss super speeds, which allows you to go, I believe, to a 1.3. This is camera nerd stuff, but I'm sure some of you guys are appreciating this, which allows you to go down to a f1.3. And so that combined with the Dragon sensor, really just amazing footage.
And we're gonna be using a lot more later. We have a lot of your stuff. Episode 2 is all low light.
Dude, there we go.
Out on the town.
Which is also one of the changes. Which is one of the changes. Which is one of the changes.
It's a fun episode.
Which is one of the changes for this season is that because we're on our primary cameras, the Red Dragon is a much more light sensitive sensor. The lighting is actually quite different in terms of being able to. So you basically have two types of light, right? You have sources within your frame, so that things like street lamps or things like that, and then you have things outside the frame that you're augmenting with. When you're talking about a low sensitivity camera, those on in-frame sources, as far as their brightness as a ratio to that and what you're augmenting is ridiculously huge. Like a little tiny light bulb's not as strong as your ridiculous large film lights. But when you're in a situation now where we were in, which is we're very close in terms of like the brightness ratio, it's really interesting because John's able to do a lot with very little light. It's very much more of an additive process. It's a very sort of fine-tuned,
rather than having to light the entire scene
just to
with
get it to an acceptable level.
It's like, this lamp and this essentially gets the level up to the
acceptable point, and now we can shape it.
And now it's just a matter of like getting some bounce on the actor's face. Whereas before it's like, we're in a dark dungeon. We need 3 massive lights just to even get the lighting up. But we essentially have to wrap it up.
We're all being bombarded with messages. You guys have more work to do. Your day off.
Do stuff.
Thank you for giving us this much of your time on your day off.
Of course. And really quick, by the way, anybody
miss you.
Follow us on Twitter. Follow the RocketJump Twitter.
Yeah,
and
we tweet
if you have questions. If you have questions or anything like that, anything on the technical side of it, feel free to reach out to us, and I'll try and answer them like when we're eating lunch or something.
We'll put our Twitters up.
Yep.
I can't tell which camera we'll use it on.
Sounds
Either
good. Well,
here-
that's it for everybody here. Facerocker. I'll do the closeout too then, I guess.
Yes,
It's a
go
good
for it,
show.
man.
For
Thank
Freddie
you.
Wong, Matt Arnold, I am
Hello.
Benji Dolly. Thank you to Alex Reeves and Point of Blue Studios. Also
For this swag recording setup.
Oh yeah.
Making sure I sound great, even though I'm a little sick right now, which is going to be bad this upcoming week.
Subscribe to us on iTunes and make sure you check out To the Future as well.
Oh, yeah. And also, little tidbit. The reason why we're rushing out, we're trying to secure the best cameo ever. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah, go do your
Gotta go.
stuff. All right, see you guys. Bye.